Guys, good Monday afternoon. I'm Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us. We are live in Charlottesville, across the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. We're presented today by Skooma Boutique Dispensary. The best dispensary in Charlottesville is Skooma Boutique Dispensary on the Charlottesville Downtown Mall, located next to Rapture Restaurant. A lot I want to cover on today's program. There is a report from Streaking the Lawn. Streaking the Lawn is a website that covers Virginia sports closely, that Kihei Clark may return to the University of Virginia for another season of college basketball. He would be one of those super seniors who is granted additional eligibility because of the COVID pandemic. That topic on today's show. Streaking the Lawn covers the program closely. They have been wrong in the past, but they had something over the weekend, and I'm reading it now, and I'll read it verbatim. They say, Streaking the Lawn, now it sounds like Clark is planning to come back for a fifth year in the orange and blue. So we'll talk that topic today on the program. We will also talk my experience at Ralph Sampson's Taphouse in Barracks Road Shopping Center. One of the cool aspects of the I Love CVille brand and network is we're able to dabble in some experiences before grand openings transpire. We enjoyed dinner and a couple of cold beers at Ralph Sampson's Taphouse and Barracks Road Shopping Center. I will relay that experience to you shortly. Terra Thai Restaurant is closing in Barracks Road Shopping Center. We were saddened to see that, a brand we know well and a brand we experienced over the weekend on their final day of being open. I'm going to ask you this question. Barracks Road Shopping Center is the highest rent district in the city. Can restaurants survive in Barracks Road Shopping Center? I will look at that question from my experience before the grand opening at Ralph's Taphouse and from our experience at Terra Thai, two food and beverage businesses located in the most expensive rent district in the city. I also want to highlight a new coffee shop coming to Charlottesville. This one, a drive-through only coffee shop that's coming to East High Street. Can a drive-through only coffee shop survive in Charlottesville on East High Street? That's a topic we will have today on the program. Speaking of coffee, let's keep it on screen. On screen now, J-Dubs, Judah Wickhauer is our director. You can win free coffee for a year from Greenberry's Coffee, the longest tenured and standing coffee shop in Charlottesville, by going to this web address, enter.greenberries.com. Enter.greenberries.com. You put your email address in there, and you could win free coffee for a year, along with a number of other prizes. It's just a fantastic offering from the owners of Greenberry Coffee. Vanessa Parkhill, Queen of Earlysville, welcome to the show. Scott Aaronworth, the King of Virginia Beach, welcome to the show. The CMO, Nicholas Erpy, welcome to the program. Streaming across all social media platforms known to mankind on the Monday edition of the show. Now, I want to talk about the report that's percolating and circulating on social media now about Kihei Clark. One of my favorite UVA basketball players, Kihei Clark, one of my favorite yes of all time. I talked last week how at 5'7" in stature, he is relatable and approachable. He is a benchmark that moms and dads can utilize for their sons or daughters about hard work, effort, dreams, and getting after it. Look at Kie. He's 5'7". He's not huge, just like you, son or daughter. If you work hard, you as well could have a chance to play in the ACC. He plays bigger than his size. He made the best pass in UVA basketball history to Mamadi Diakite. He's a national champion and an all-ACC performer. Over the weekend, the website streakingthelawn.com, who covers Virginia sports closely, had 4 or 5 paragraphs on Kie Clark. And they positioned that Kie may return for a 5th year, a super senior year. I'm going to read the 4 paragraphs to you, and then I'm going to offer my take. Paragraph 1. Which seniors stick around for a 5th year? Determining which seniors among Kie Clark, Jaden Gardner, and Cody Statman will return for a 5th season and utilize their extra year of COVID-19 eligibility will come first for this program. There is an understanding that Cody Statman will be moving on, while it also appears that Jaden Gardner is set to return to UVA. He was non-committal when asked after the St. Bonaventure loss, but Gardner's absence from senior day ceremonies alone implies that he'll come back to Charlottesville next season. The big question is what Kie Clark will do. Over the last year or so, there's been whispers of his plans that seem to have jumped back and forth all the time. Now those whispers suggest that Kie Clark is planning to come back for a 5th year in the orange and blue. Kie did take part in senior day ceremonies and allowed UVA to honor him as though he would be done and leaving. Nevertheless, he's never definitely said nor really implied that he saw this to be his final season at UVA. That's from Streaking the Lawn, who covers the Virginia basketball team closely. So, now we have to ask ourselves, is Kie Clark a 5'7" point guard who is as a lightning rod of a player as I've seen, certainly in the Tony Bennett era? Is he returning for a 5th year? From my standpoint, and I had this conversation with the King of Orbits, James Watson, a few weeks ago, why would you not return to UVA? You have an opportunity for a 5th season where you can get a graduate school degree, where you could potentially take a course load that's not as deep as your undergraduate course load. You can play for a coach you know, be the leader of the team unquestioned, make another push for an ACC championship. The UVA basketball team that's returning next year is going to be loaded. I mean, loaded. Not only do you likely have Gardner and Franklin returning, you have Reese Beekman returning, you have one of the best recruiting classes in the nation coming, and you got some bench players who got some experience last year who will play next year. Why wouldn't you return? I cannot imagine the professional basketball future for 5'7" point guards that are not great shooters. That potential is not great to play pro ball. Yes, Kie may be able to play in Europe, not at the top level of Europe, but at some level of professional basketball in Europe and earn a paycheck, but that is a very arduous and difficult journey. Why not get a 5th year at UVA, get a graduate school degree, a graduate program degree at no charge to him, and gain even more experience learning from Tony Bennett, and eventually earn a paycheck in basketball as a coach? That's how Kie is going to earn a paycheck if he chooses to pursue basketball. It's coaching. You have an opportunity to learn from literally one of the best coaches in college basketball history. I don't use that phrase lightly. I do believe Tony Bennett will go down as one of the best coaches in college basketball history. I do mean that. I understand he only has one national championship, and I understand there's some coaches like Krzyzewski and Dean Smith and Roy Williams and John Wooden who have multiple national championships. But in this era of college basketball, if you look at the statistics, Tony Bennett in this era of college basketball is as good as any. The John Wooden era of college basketball is very different than this era of college basketball. In this era of college basketball, you have a hell of a lot more one-and-dones or people leaving early to pursue professional careers. That makes winning titles and championships more difficult in this era and puts a larger priority or onus on recruiting. Bennett has proven that if he recruits the right players, he can get them to stay long-term and they can buy into a program's overall dynamics, defense, experience, working a shot clock, playing hard on both sides of the ball, going after it for 40 minutes. Kie returning for a fifth year would be good for his coaching resume. Would be good for his graduate school degree resume, his resume in totality. I would not be shocked if he returns for a fifth year. That's what's percolating and circulating on social media right now via Streaking the Lawn. Okay, next topic on today's show. Erin King, hello. Queen of Western Albemarle, one of Western Albemarle's finest graduates. Queen of Scottsville, DOD, Danny O'Day, hello. Welcome to the program, DOD. The next topic I want to cover on the show is Ralph Sampson's Taphouse. It has yet to open. In fact, the grand opening of Ralph Sampson's Taphouse is, I'll give you the exact date. I have it on my phone. The exact opening, the ribbon cutting and grand opening is April 8th. I enjoyed Ralph Sampson's Taphouse a couple of days ago. It's located in Barracks Road Shopping Center in the location formerly known as Zinburger. Ralph Sampson's Taphouse is a Washington, D.C. restaurant group that has come to the Charlottesville market and has opened a tap house and sports bar utilizing the naming rights. Maybe it's a licensing deal. Maybe there's some points on the package. Maybe there's a little equity stake, essentially leveraging the brand recognition of Ralph Sampson. Ralph Sampson, for those that don't know, and frankly speaking, folks 25 and under probably don't know much of Ralph Sampson, was the greatest basketball player in UVA history, Ralph Sampson. If it was not for injuries, he would have had an NBA career that would have been potentially synonymous with some of the best centers in basketball history. However, he was injury prone. His NBA career was cut short. Regardless, Sampson had a dramatic impact on basketball in Charlottesville. Larger than life, 7 foot plus, skills for days, could handle, could shoot, could block, could rebound, and at 7 foot plus, a guy who could run the floor was an icon in his day. Literally, University Hall, U-Hall, the basketball arena where UVA played previously to the John Paul Jones Arena's construction, someone went atop University Hall and wrote Ralph's house atop U-Hall. The guy lived on the lawn. The guy played for the Rockets. The guy was seen to be a more talented Hakeem Olajuwon, but injuries kept him from fulfilling his true potential. Let's get to today. Ralph Sampson has his hands in a number of business endeavors today. He's a part owner of the White Spot on the UVA corner. There's an aggregation, some partners, a partnership group that's come together to purchase the White Spot. Ralph's one of them. Furthermore, his name is being utilized as the brand for a tap house in Barracks Road, Ralph Sampson's Tap House. I went there a few days ago for, Danny O'Day says three-time ACC Player of the Year. Thank you, DOD, Danny O'Day. I went there for some food and some beers with a couple of homies. Watched some college basketball, sat at the bar, had a good time. The first things that struck me from Ralph Sampson's Tap House are as follows. A, Ralph Sampson's Tap House could fulfill the niche, the missing or unfulfilled niche of sports bar in the city of Charlottesville. When you think sports bars in the city of Charlottesville, what comes to mind? Remember, Buffalo Wild Wings is 29 North in Albemarle County. And a lot of us won't go to chain restaurants, and that's exactly what that is. If you're thinking sports bars in the city of Charlottesville, heck, we'll even include Albemarle County in there, what comes to mind? Citizen Burger Bar in the downtown mall is a good spot for sports. Do you call it a sports bar? I'm not sure that's a sports bar. Boylan Heights on the UVA corner, great spots for sports, great burgers like Citizen. It's on the UVA corner. A lot of locals aren't going to the UVA corner when students are in session. Timberwood Tap House, the Tap House in 5th Street Station, has fantastic televisions for viewing in 5th Street Station, the bar area in particular. Maybe you call that a sports bar. Timberwood Grill, sister restaurant, good sports viewing sessions. But I guess what I'm saying is you don't have really that straight up, this is a sports bar, let's rock and roll, this is it. Lazy Parrot, DOD says on Pantops, Danny O'Day. That's a good spot for watching sports. I've watched many a game there. So maybe Ralph's fills the niche of sports bar in Charlottesville. TVs everywhere. In fact, little has changed from Zinburger days. The signage has changed. The branding has changed. The menu has changed. But from a physical footprint standpoint, little has changed at Ralph Sampson's Tap House versus Zinburger. Now, I will give the owners props because Zinburger dropped ducats, serious money, into building that space. And it wasn't long ago, so why change it? Especially in a competitive field like restaurants. Now, let's get to the menu. After being impressed with the ambiance, after being impressed with the service, after being impressed with the beer selection, after being impressed with the television offerings, and I was impressed with all those from Ralph's, I looked at the menu and was surprised, almost taken aback by the price points. It's costly. It's costly. Now, I understand in today's market, with labor, cost of goods, inflation, and certainly a rent district like Barracks Road, you're going to have to charge a pretty penny to meet your overhead. And undoubtedly, the rents at Barracks Road Shopping Center are astronomical. Aaron King, Belmont Pizza is a good one as well for a sports bar viewing situation. We have seen in Barracks Road Shopping Center, Brick's Pizza close. We have seen in Barracks Road Shopping Center, and you think of some restaurants in Barracks Road Shopping Center, Judah Wickower, and have that two-shot ready to go that have closed. Restaurants in Barracks that have closed. What else have we seen? Brick's Pizza. We've seen Zinburger close in Barracks Road Shopping Center. Brick's Pizza and Zinburger have deep pockets. We saw Ruby Tuesdays not be able to make it in Barracks Road Shopping Center. Some big brands not be able to make it in this shopping center. Over the weekend, Terra Thai, a community staple and a locally owned business, shut its doors. Terra Thai. Terra Thai said, peace out Barracks Road, and they're moving down the street, Emmett, into the old Arches frozen yogurt spot that went to a furniture store for a New York Minute. Now going to be the home of the new Terra Thai, which is going to be rebranded Chang Thai. So I asked this question to everybody that's watching the program. Are the rents so expensive, borderline uncoverable, that a locally owned restaurant, even a regional restaurant like Brick's or Zinburger and now Ralph's, are they so high that you cannot afford them as a food and beverage business? Ralph's has got legitimately priced options, and maybe this is the going rate, and maybe this is an indication that cost of goods are so high that you got to charge these prices just to survive. And I encourage anyone to check it out. I'm gonna rattle off some menu prices. You got any of that I'm missing, Judah? At Barracks Row that have closed? And viewers and listeners, any that you can think of?
I can't think of any.
That have closed? I'm going to give you some prices here from Ralph's. And I understand the cost of wings is astronomical, but they got 10 wings for $23. 10 wings for $23. I got a cheesesteak sandwich over there, and it was damn good. The cheesesteak hoagie was fantastic. The cheesesteak hoagie at Ralph's was $16. Shaved ribeye, peppers, onions, beer cheese. Cheesesteak hoagie was excellent. They got on that menu a bistro steak, a filet mignon with a lobster tail that's $52. A ribeye that's $45. They got beers. The starting point for a draft beer at Ralph's is $7. Some drafts are flirting double digits. Do you choose to open a restaurant in Barracks despite the obscenely high rents? Georgia Gilmore says Piedmont Bar and Kitchen has price points similar to Ralph's. Piedmont Bar and Kitchen is the old Shadwell's. I get that menu prices are higher than they've ever been. But there's one thing there's one strategy of opening a restaurant in a manageable rent district so you can price menus appropriately. And there's another strategy of opening a restaurant in the highest rent district possible, and that's Barracks Road. Stonefield's in Albemarle County. Barracks Road is the highest rent district in the city of Charlottesville. And when your rents are as expensive as Barracks, you're going to have the turnover that Barracks Road has. What was the one that's the old Peter Chang's? Was it like a American Green or a not Sweet Green, it was the old Peter Chang's location. Was a really good American restaurant, had good pasta dishes. Five Guys closed down in Barracks Road Shopping Center.
Really?
There's a Five Guys, yeah, that place closed down.
Just recently?
Yes, that was years ago.
Five Guys is still in there.
Open?
I went there not too long ago.
How recently? Are you on the two-shot?
No.
Okay, people need to see you. Is your microphone on?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong there. Is Five Guys still open?
Yeah.
Okay, I stand corrected.
I went there like
you're right. It's still. I'm thinking Five Guys downtown mall. That one's closed.
Yeah, that did close.
That's what I'm thinking. So you went to Five Guys recently. That's still open.
Yeah.
What was the pizza place that had the delicious pizza crusties that closed there?
I don't think I ever got pizza in
Italian
Barracks.
restaurant, Barracks Road. Oh, why am I drawing a blank on that? Restaurant. What do you guys know what I'm talking about? Had great pizza by the slice. Casella's. Casella's closed in Barracks Road Shopping Center.
How long ago was that?
I mean, that was a while ago. It was darn good. It was locally owned. What else is closed in Barracks Road Shopping Center? You got to ask yourself the question, are the rents so high in that district that unless you're a deep national big-time brand, you're not going to be able to afford it? I encourage everyone to try Ralph's. The grand opening is around the corner. We're probably going to go again. Maybe next week we'll take some photos, we'll post it on the gram. But I ask anyone that's watching, with rents like that, can a local or regional player afford them long term? And I wish Ralph well. I really do. And I wish the wait staff well, the bar staff well. The service was fantastic. The hoagie was excellent. But I would venture to say the rent that Ralph's is paying, the rent that this DC group is paying for Ralph's Tap Room is in the top 5 highest total rents in the city of Charlottesville. What can you think of restaurant-wise that would have a higher rent than that, Judah? Go to the 2 Shop.
Higher rent than what?
Than Ralph's Tap Room. Downtown Mall, what do we think has the highest rents? I think it formerly was Prime 109 and Downtown Grill. Those both closed.
I mean, you're asking the wrong person.
What is the
I would guess
highest rent?
Passiflora, they've got a pretty darn big footprint.
That's a good call. Downtown Mall. Passiflora, Hunter Smith, the owner of it, the Champion Hospitality Group. Doesn't own the building, owns the restaurant. Mm-hmm. What else do you think has high rents there?
On the downtown mall?
And it's based on size.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to UVA Corner. Boylan Heights, probably the highest rents based on space. It's 2 floors.
And it's right on the corner.
It's on the corner. Barracks Road, it's got to be Ralph's. What's got higher rent than Ralph's in Barracks Road? Chopped? I don't think Chopped's bigger than Barracks. Bigger than Ralph's.
Chopped?
The salad spot?
Is that by itself or is
Yeah, by itself.
I would imagine that would be pretty expensive.
I mean, is the highest, do you make the argument that the highest monthly rent from a restaurant standpoint in the city of Charlottesville is Ralph's? Can someone make a suggestion or think of one that's higher than that? I mean, I think you're looking at probably the highest rents in the area. Danny O'Day says this: Ralph's is going to be the one to let us know if Barracks is inaccessible. Regional company with a local legends brand name that fills a specific and very populous niche in the local market. If they aren't able to stay open because they price themselves out of existence, that's a bad sign for restaurants on the mall. I found that topic intriguing as well, DOD. That's literally what I was thinking. Vanessa Parkhill says Casella's was good pizza. It was good pizza. Olivia Branch says, I will forever miss hotcakes. Me too, Olivia Branch. Me too. Olivia, hotcakes is still for sale, interestingly. Stu Rifkin has that listing. Can anyone think or project or guess or offer a restaurant that has higher monthly rent than Ralph's in the city of Charlottesville? The only ones that could challenge Ralph's, I mean, it's got to be tied to Barracks. I mean, let's go Barracks Road Shopping Center restaurants. I'm looking right now. John Blair, welcome to the program. We love you, JB. You got Chopped over there. Panera, our friend, Panera Bread, Kelly Jackson family over there. We love you guys. I don't think their rent is higher than Ralph's. I think Ralph's is going to be higher than Panera Bread because it's a standalone island restaurant versus one within the shopping center. The island pads are always more expensive from a monthly standpoint. Someone suggesting Cava's got high rents. I think Cava does have high rents, but that's across from Barracks, and a more difficult to get into shopping center than Barracks. So I don't think Kava's any higher than them.
Probably not.
Chop, maybe. I think we just found the highest rent in the city of Charlottesville. I don't think Sedona Taphouse, Grayson. Grayson's suggesting Sedona Taphouse is higher rents. I don't think that's it. Danny O'Day's comment about Ralph's letting us know if Barracks is a legitimate destination for restaurants is on point. DOD, well said. Try the restaurant. I mean, give it a try. Do I expect someone to go into it and order a filet mignon with a lobster tail at $52 when the person across the table from them can be eating a cheesesteak hoagie at $16?
It's a bit of a spread.
That's a hell of a spread. How do you feel about paying $9.50 for a draft beer, Judah?
I think I'd be bringing my own.
I mean, you find that high, right?
Just a little bit.
$9.50.
Better be a damn good beer.
I mean,
I had be getting more than 12 ounces.
I had a 7. Mine was 7.50. It was a New England IPA from I think it was Solus Brewing Company.
Was it what
Mine was like 7.5%.
size was it?
Just normal draft. It's not an extra tall. It was just a normal draft.
Yeah, that's insane.
We'll follow it closely. Taraty's closed. Taraty leaves Barracks for the old Arches frozen yogurt location on Emmett Street. They're going to open and rebrand. I found that interesting. Another item of note that I found interesting, I was driving down High Street to get to work, and in High Street to get to work, can you put it on screen? Get it on screen when you can. There's a coffee shop that's coming on High Street called Bews on High. I'm going to go to their Facebook page, and Bews on High bills itself as the city of Charlottesville's first drive-through only coffee shop. Can you think of another coffee shop in the city of Charlottesville that has only been drive-through only? I cannot. This is what Bews on High says on Facebook. It's going to be in the old Wells Fargo branch bank on High Street. And it bills itself as Charlottesville's first drive-through coffee shop at the corner of Locust and High. Do you have that on screen?
Yeah.
Look at the screen, guys. For those that are watching the visual show, instead of streaming on Spotify, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts in their car, look at the screen now. This is the old Wells Fargo bank. And Bews on High, I initially Bews on High, did you think beer? If you had heard that brand, Bews on High, wouldn't you think beer?
Definitely. I still think it's beer.
But we know it's coffee because
It's all lies.
Bews on High is an interesting brand name. We'll give it a chance. We're just spitballing for the sake of a talk show. Bews on High gives me first the beer impression.
Yeah.
Now, what do we think about the business model of drive-through only coffee shop?
I don't drink coffee on a regular basis except when Keith brings it to me, so I could, maybe that's a thing. I'm sure it's probably easier for people going to work or heading home to just pop into the drive-thru and grab a coffee.
I'm curious if a drive-through only coffee shop is going to make it. Now, the Starbucks on West Main, where the Pizza Hut was located, kind of close to where Aaron King, our friend of the program, is now, kind of across from Feast. There's a Starbucks that's opening there, and that point of the Starbucks is for pickup only. So it's like use the app, call or order ahead, and pick it up there, but it's not a drive-through component.
Does anyone plan their coffee that meticulously?
I think people do. My wife certainly does. Coffee is the the most popular legal drug in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it certainly surpassed cigarettes. I'm curious, coffee market share versus cold beer market share. More coffee drinkers than beer drinkers. Coffee market share versus wine market share. I'd say there's more coffee drinkers than wine drinkers.
Possibly.
From a legal drug standpoint, I would say it's coffee, wine, beer, spirits, cigarettes. And you got the two on this camera here?
Let's see.
I don't think you do. I'd say it's coffee, wine, beer, liquor, cigarettes from a legal drug standpoint. Most popular ones out there. So Brews on High, opening soon, and it's billing itself as Charlottesville's first drive-through coffee shop in an old bank building. They got to have, if this business is going to work, and I'm not saying it can't work, because if the pandemic taught us anything, it's the value proposition of a drive-through is paramount. The businesses that had success in food and beverage during the pandemic had drive-thrus, and you quickly saw Bodo's Bagels pivot to a drive-through component. So a drive-through is more paramount than ever. COVID taught us that. But if your sole stream of revenue is going to be a drive-through, that thing has got to be a well-oiled Chick-fil-A machine.
Yeah.
And if it's not, and people are waiting extended period of times for their white chocolate mocha grande latte super deluxe, they're going to not have a ton of repeat business during peak rush hour of coffee drinking, people on their way to work.
They're going to need to do better than Chick-fil-A.
I don't see anybody doing better than Chick-fil-A.
That's going to be a problem.
Chick-fil-A somehow has managed to persuade, or maybe the pay is that well. They have what normally is an angst-ridden teenager standing in the freezing cold, inhaling exhaust fumes, taking orders from cars while in low 20s or teens temperatures. Have you seen it?
We're talking about Charlottesville here?
Yeah.
I'm joking. We don't see low teens very often, but yeah.
Low 20s or teens we see often.
They've got to treat their people well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hardly a surprise.
We see low 20s and teens often in Charleston.
Really?
It was 21 degrees this morning when I woke up. Legitimately 21. I think it's it's still cold.
Oh, I know it's cold.
How do they get kids, teenagers, to stand outside in the freezing cold and take people's orders in the middle of a drive-through lane? What other takeout drive-through business does that successfully? None. I can't think of a single one. I mean, we often joke that Chick-fil-A should have been the people that were offering vaccines, doing vaccine rollout during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Brews on High. We will follow your restaurant closely. Most competitive spaces of business, I'll say it again. Food and beverage is number one. Ton of restaurants in our area. Riches of restaurants in our area. Realtors, number two. Both restaurants and realtors, you can make a legitimate argument. It's our benefit. We benefit. But if you're in the restaurant space or the realtor space, you're probably saying there's too many realtors out there. And if you're in the restaurant space, you're probably saying there's too many restaurants out there. And the subcategory of competition is coffee shops. You take restaurants as one category as a whole, being the most competitive. And then if you want to break out a subcategory of restaurants that are the most competitive, it's coffee shops. They are everywhere. Everywhere. The second most competitive subcategory of restaurants, what would that be?
Competitive category of,
Subcategory in restaurants.
what are my choices?
You're supposed to come up with it.
Burgers?
There's a lot of burger joints. Yeah. There's a lot of burger joints. Janice Trevelyan, we did Ironclad and Shore Pump. It's drive-through or walk-up. There's another one downtown Richmond that is sit-in. It's busy and great coffee. Though through the pandemic, they were drive-through only. Great comment, Janice Boyce Trevelyan. I would say the density of people and the ability to walk places and live life without a car is much greater in Richmond than in the city of Charlottesville. Olivia Branch says Chick-fil-A pays really well and gives lots of positive feedback to their employees. Their youth feel very valued working there. That is 100% true. I have seen that firsthand. Great comment, Olivia Branch. Great comment. I mean, you better be paying well if you're asking your kids, if you're asking your employees that are teenagers to literally stand outside taking orders while inhaling exhaust fumes. Kelly Jackson, owner of Panera, watching the program, fast casual. She's 100% right. Fast casual's on fire. Do you think Bews on High, KJ, is going to do well? I'm curious of your take. Charlottesville's first and only drive-through coffee shop. They got no inside, KJ. No inside option for people to come in and order inside or eat or drink inside. It's car drive-through only, KJ, on High Street. What do you think of Bews on High and whether you think that'll do well? Also, KJ, I'm curious of your take, because you know this better than anyone. Is Ralph's Tap Room, KJ, the highest monthly rent in the city of Charlottesville for a restaurant? What is higher rent than Ralph's Tap Room in the city of Charlottesville, KJ? She says, I think Bews on High will do well if they can hire people right now. And she says that's an incredible challenge. She knows. She's got 17 Panera Breads over there. Scott Aaronworth says they have a drive-through Starbucks in Virginia Beach. Undoubtedly have a drive-through Starbucks in Virginia Beach. I would counter this, Scott Aaronworth, that Virginia Beach has a greater density or much deeper population than the city of Charlottesville. And that gives that drive-through and Starbucks in Virginia Beach an advantage that it may not have in Charlottesville. And I'll base that statement on the drive-through on Pantops and the drive-through Starbuckses around Charlottesville that are not drive-through only. Kelly Jackson says, my guess is yes, that Ralph's has the highest monthly rent in the city of Charlottesville. She would know. She's got a Panera in Barracks Road, so she would know. What do you think is number 2, Kelly Jackson, highest rent restaurant in the city of Charlottesville? Is it Chopped, KJ? Is Chopped number 2 from a highest rent standpoint? Drive-through is undoubtedly a must now. Neil Williamson is highlighting the new drive-through Starbucks on 29 North in the old Real Estate 3 building. Neil, that's Albemarle County, not City of Charlottesville, but that is a good statement that you made there. Neil, is that Starbucks that's opening in the old Real Estate 3 building, is that going to be strictly drive-through only and no inside service? Let me know that. He's the president of the Free Enterprise Forum. The dude's got super skills. And is just an all-around nice guy. I very much say Neil Williamson is just an A-plus person. Wow, she says she may say Panera Bread, Barracks Road has the Panera Bread has the second highest rent.
Damn.
In the city of Charlottesville. Or the new taco place going in there. Which new taco place that's going in Barracks? There's a new one, not Torchy's in Stonefield, right, KJ? Because that's Albemarle County. Is there a new, what's the new taco place in Barracks, KJ? KJ's making us good today. Making us smart today. Because of the size, she says she might be number 2. Their Barracks Road location is massive. Good info right there. So Ralph's, because of the alley, Chopped does have an island location though, KJ. With Chopped having an island location, That could be more rent than your Panera, although your size is greater. I mean, heck, you know your business. I mean, good Lord, that you own the business, so I got to go with what you're saying here, and you've never led me astray in the past here. So if you're saying yours is in the 2 slot, we're going to say yours is in the 2 slot because you know your business. So hers is the second highest rents. I was just curious of the island pad nature of Chopped, and maybe that could push it into the 2 slot because it was an island standalone restaurant. That's why I thought it could be in the 2. But you know the rents in that shopping center better than I do, undoubtedly. Scott Aaronworth says, if you charge high prices, your food better back it up. Oh yeah, Brazos is going to Barracks. That's a good call. I can't imagine. Brazos has taken over the Bricks Pizza place. Thank you for reminding me of that, KJ. I can't imagine though, and this is to her point and to her credit, I can't imagine, and she's at Disney World right now. Gotta go getting on the Star Wars ride at Disney World. Enjoy Star Wars ride at Disney World with your family. I've enjoyed the photos of you and your family drinking beers, and say hello to Adam. I can't imagine Brazos can afford the monthly rent that Bricks was paying. Brazos has taken over the Bricks Pizza location. I can't imagine that in their second iteration of their business, the first is Ix Park, and that's going extremely well, that in the second iteration of their business, that they're going to be able to afford what Bricks Pizza was doing. And I would bet, just like we saw at the Shops of Stonefield, the Shops of Stonefield are owned by a private equity firm out of New York. The Shops of Stonefield was so desperate for a local restaurant and brand that Hunter Smith with Champion Grill was able to negotiate with the PE firm. I guess he's negotiating with the management company that's leasing the spaces. But he was able to leverage and negotiate with management and ownership different rents, a different rent price point. For Champion Grill, because Stonefield desperately needed a local brand in that shopping center. And the price point he got for Champion Grill was not the price point that Rock Salt was previously paying. And the scuttlebutt I have heard was Rock Salt was paying $19,000 a month in rent. And that's a hell of a lot of oysters. And I know Champion is not paying nearly that. So maybe in a similar vein or a similar suit, Brazos, because Barracks Road, owned by Federal Realty, a publicly traded company, Brazos likely was able to come in as a beloved local brand and negotiate a price point that was much lower than Bricks Pizza for the sake of Barracks Road and Federal Realty saying, hey, we have local flavor here as well. Brazos, Tiffany Smith in the Virginia shop, Monique and Steve at the Happy Cook. And interestingly, in Barracks Road, I found it very interesting that the Nike store could not survive there in Barracks Road, and an American Eagle is now there. So I think we figured out that Ralph's is the highest rent of any restaurant in the city of Charlottesville. And I encourage anyone to try it. Matthias John, thank you for chiming in on Brazos as well. We appreciate you watching the program. A couple other topics I want to get to. Olivia says, aren't the rents astronomical on the downtown mall? The rents are high on the downtown mall, but they are not as high as Barracks Road. And I know that from a number of different reasons, number of different ways. One of the ways is Lynn Goldman, the jeweler. Lynn Goldman had a jewelry shop in Barracks Road, and now Lynn Goldman's jewelry shop is in the downtown mall. And Lynn has mentioned to me multiple times that the rents on the downtown mall were one of the reasons she left Barracks Road Shopping Center for downtown, because downtown was more affordable rents. Kevin Higgins said they have a drive-through Starbucks in Waynesboro. Dude, Waynesboro is blowing up. And Higgins has been a proponent of their blowing up on this program, and he's been exactly right. Waynesboro is blowing up. Is there a drive-through only business in the city of Charlottesville. And no, Bodo's does not count. Bodo's does not count. Yes, it was drive-through only in the pandemic, but now it's open back up its dining room. That was a survival tactic. Neil Williamson, I'm also curious of that as well. KJ, if you're not yet on the Star Wars ride, Neil Williamson is curious of what Chick-fil-A pays in Barracks Road rent. KJ may know that, Neil Williamson. Right now she's on the Star Wars ride. What do you think the Star Wars ride at Disney World pertains to? You're a Star Wars fan. Can you go to the two-shot?
What do I think the Star Wars ride pertains to?
Yeah, what do you think aspects of the Star Wars ride at Disney World are?
Man, if I had to guess, I'd say...
Chewbacca swallowing up the roller coaster somehow? Lightsabers?
I don't know about Chewbacca swallowing. I'd go more for the...
Darth Vader?
I'd go more for the... Well, it depends what kind of a ride it is, I guess. I'd say... I'd guess that it's probably like you're flying around in an X-Wing or something like that, and you've got stuff chasing after you like a space flight, but maybe it's more like some of the slower rides where like it's a small world after all, where you just kind of like float on through, and yeah, you've got scary Darth Vader like menacing you when you come through a tunnel at one point, or I don't know.
Cheers, Virginia. Cheers, Virginia. Your Facebook page is awesome. So this is a bit of news that I didn't know. This is from Cheers, Virginia. They just posted this on Facebook. On one of our 15 Facebook pages the show is streaming upon. Cheers, Virginia has posted, Neil Williamson, you'll like this, has posted the State Corporation Commission LLC information. Cheers, Virginia, bravo. I will post this on the I Love CVille Network later today. And according to Cheers Virginia, who posted a link to the State Corporation Commission, Brews on High is an LLC called Brews on High LLC. The lone member or manager of the Brews on High LLC, who do you think it is?
Say it again. The
lone member or manager. Are you focusing?
Yeah.
You sure?
I just had a message from a client.
Okay. The lone member or manager of the Brews on High LLC is Hunter Smith.
Okay.
That's according to the State Corporation Commission. Cheers VA just posted that on our Facebook page. That right there is information. That's news right there. So Hunter, of the Champion Hospitality Group and Champion Brewing Company fame, he's got his hands in Champion Grill, Passiflora, Siren, the old Shebeen, Siren.
Brasserie Saison.
Brasserie Saison, good call.
Plus the, what is it, Saizette, the place next
Yeah,
to it?
Super Saizette, the little market that's never open next to Brasserie Saison.
Yeah.
The Dumpling Food Truck. The Champion Empire. Missile's a damn good beer. He is the lone member manager of Brews on High LLC. Dude's opening up another brand. Did he name it? Now I'm just literally brainstorming on the fly. I'm literally brainstorming it on the fly. Did he name it Brews on High?
Because he's big into brews.
Or take it a step further. Can you go through Brews on High eventually and purchase coffee during the day and then purchase 6-packs and cases of beer as the day matures? That would make sense.
That would make a little sense, but that place is pretty small. He'd have to have a very,
Dude.
very limited inventory.
His production center, his production facility is right around the corner for refills.
If he's only, yeah, like I said, that's still a very limited.
It could potentially be, in Hunter, is this what you're doing? Hunter, you watch this program here. Cheers VA. Great comment from you, Cheers VA. I'm literally thinking on the fly. Is this, like, you go to the Outer Banks with your family, right? Is this the
like
brew-through version of the city of Charlottesville? This is literally coming to me on the fly. I have not planned this. I'm literally adapting to Cheers VA's Facebook post on I Love CVille's Facebook page. The show airs on 15 Facebook pages. Brews on High, you and I were like, why the hell is it named Brews on High? Is it going to be a brew-through?
Makes sense, but yeah, he'd have to be just selling his own stuff because there's not enough room in that place to do all kinds of coffee and have a decent selection of beers that people can just drive up and.
The plot has thickened. I think we are seeing potentially, and I have no confirmation of this, I'm strictly spitballing on the fly and using some common sense and some acumen and some God-given vision here. I think we are legitimately seeing the potential for the first brew-through in Charlottesville, Virginia history.
Could be.
That is something. Interesting. What do you think, Neil Williamson? I think it's going to be a brew-through. I think it's going to have coffee, to-go coffee, and to-go beer. And isn't there now a law that allows you to sell to-go drinks that are alcoholic? Now, I'm curious how that law would work if it's to-go drinks and you're in a car.
You're talking about like in a cup.
Yeah.
That's nuts. There's no way Hunter would be doing that. That's insane.
As long as the driver's not drinking it.
I mean, why though?
Dude's done crazier stuff. He's willing to try anything. Hunter is willing to try anything and everything. It's one of the things that I give the man some props. He is willing to try anything and everything. He's the quintessential entrepreneur that throws things against the wall, and if it ain't broke, he keeps doing it, and if it's broke, he just shuts it down. They did that with the Champion on, what was that co-working space in Richmond? Was it Gather? I think it was called Gather. Isn't that what it's called? Gather co-working. Isn't that where you had one, Hunter, in Richmond? I'm pretty sure it was called Gather. He had a Champion over in Gather, a little tap house for co-working, and he shut it down. He said, hey, this ain't working, we'll close it down. Dude, is Brews on High the first brew-through that's going to happen in City of Charlottesville history?
Could be.
It makes sense with the name. You
It does
start.
make sense with the name. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what kind of hoops you'd have to jump through to get something like that started.
Johnny Ornelas owns El Mariachi in Guadalajara. He goes, from what I know, the ABC still requires food sales. That's why we don't just have bars in Virginia. Johnny, you know a lot about this. I'm going to ask a follow-up question to Johnny Ornelas, El Mariachi owner and Guadalajara owner. Can Hunter Smith legitimately, Johnny Ornelas, this is a question for you, Johnny, that I'm hoping you can offer some perspective. Can the man in this converted bank building, can he sell coffee to go and six-packs and cases of Champion beer to go that are unopened, like brew-through in the Outer Banks? I would think he'd be able to do that. Daniel McDougall, yeah, the Gather's near Broad and Boulevard in Richmond. I thought it was Gather. Thank you, D-Mac. I love when you watch the program, D-Mac. You make us smarter. So, J.O., that's a question for you, J.O. And J.O., I did get confirmation on the Bashir's location. The Bashir's location is going to be a City Hall utilized space. So the old Bashir's restaurant is going to be City Hall utilized space. And the follow-up question I have for you, J.O., is this. Can it be a brew-through? It may not be able to do open container for what you just said because the ABC in Virginia requires you to do food sales along with booze sales. That's why there are no bars in Virginia. That's a great point from J.O. But J.O., can he do a brew-through setup where he's doing six-packs and cases of beer to go? I'm very curious of your take. I think that is legal. And someone who's innovating in food and beverage, it is freaking Hunter Smith. I think we just figured out. J.O. says if the ABC gives him an ABC off license, he can sell 6-packs and cases of beer all day from what I know.
Nice.
Dude, I love this show. So on one of our Facebook pages, Cheers VA puts the State Corporation Commission, LLC background information and shows that Hunter Smith is the loan manager of the property. The loan manager, not of the property, but of the LLC. Heck, it looks like the LLC is registered to his house from this thing. It looks like it's registered to his home. I don't want to blow the man's spot up by putting his address on the talk show over here, but the LLC, Brews on High, is registered to a personal residence. And the loan member or manager of the LLC is Hunter Smith, who owns a beer empire, and he's named the new business Brews on High. That tells me Drive-Thru.
Yeah.
I'd say that's common sense reasoning.
It's a fairly logical jump.
Yeah, I think we're connecting the dots, and I think we potentially have possibly broken some news here again on the show and on the network. Wow. On the fly. Love this show. Quite a bit. Lee Elberson, hello, on LinkedIn. Danny O'Day says Brews on High is going to need to have a NASCAR pit crew inside in that building if they're going to have the turnover they need for success. It's a good comment. But if they're selling 6-packs and cases in to-go format on High Street, that would make the transaction time with customers much smoother.
Yeah, but you're still dealing with coffee.
Well, if eventually the model is less coffee-centric and more brew-through-centric, that makes the transaction time faster because you're not making anything.
But you really think he's going to start with the coffee?
I think he has
and
to
slowly.
I think he starts with the coffee. He's a smart man. I think he starts with the coffee because it drives revenue during the morning and non-beer time. So I think what he'll do is, and I'm just spitballing on the fly here, I think what he's going to do is have coffee and grab-and-go sandwiches, like bacon, egg, and cheese, sausage, egg, and cheese, ham, egg, and cheese,
So you think he's
croissants,
gonna
danishes.
Buy a bunch of those from somewhere in the morning?
Well, he's already got the restaurants that can make them. He's already got the restaurants in play. So think about a vertically integrated concept. You know, same thing we're doing at I Love CVille, VMV Brands in the Macklin building, right? It's 3 businesses run by the same team, right? To cut down on overhead, right? So he says, all right, I have all these restaurants. These restaurants are going to make my grab-and-go sandwiches for me. They're going to wrap them, and a team member is going to grab them and take them to Brews on High. And he'll have 4 or 5 coffee options, 4 or 5 grab-and-go sandwich options. He'll capture business in the morning, and as the morning business goes from morning and lunchtime business to afternoon and evening business, then the menu does the switcheroo change. It doesn't even need to do the switcheroo change. Someone may want a 6-pack and a sausage, egg, and cheese, ham, egg, and cheese. And then in the afternoon, drive home, you're buying 6-packs, sixers, and suitcases of beer.
Yeah.
Dude, Hunter, that's a smart idea. I hope you're doing it that way, dog. I'm sure you are. That's a smart idea. All right, one other topic. I love this show. That literally was on the fly. Elon Musk is considering launching a social media platform. Elon Musk, the billionaire and the owner of Tesla and SpaceX, says he's going to launch a social media platform. And he's saying it because he's irritated with Twitter and the throttling of commentary or the squashing of free speech that Twitter does. Want to hear something ridiculous? Somebody explain this to me. Does he still have one? Does he still have an account? So the president of Russia still has an active Twitter account. But Donald Trump had his Twitter account banned by Twitter.
Has Zelensky been posting?
President of Russia.
Okay. But what has he been posting?
I mean,
does
the president of Russia deserve a Twitter account?
Does Putin troll people?
I mean, so you're saying that's the difference, is Putin's not trolling people like Trump was trolling people?
I'm saying I have no idea. I don't know what Putin tweets.
The president of Russia has an active Twitter account, but the former president of the United States had his banned by Twitter. And Musk is saying because Twitter is throttling free speech on its platform, it's pissing him off so much that he may use his wealth to build his own social media platform.
Cool.
I mean, same reason Trump's built his platform.
Yep.
Elon Musk seems to have the Midas touch.
He's a futurist.
He's a futurist. Yeah.
And he's got the money to back up whatever he wants to do.
Exactly.
Right?
If Elon Musk wants to roll out a social media platform, any social media platform that's active today should feel threatened. Zuckerberg should feel threatened. Jack Dorsey should feel threatened. I mean, he is a futurist.
I thought Jack Dorsey sold.
Jack Dorsey's not part of Twitter anymore? Let's do a little Jack Dorsey recon. I mean, Jack Dorsey is still part of Square. He's an American internet entrepreneur. He's the co-founder, former CEO of Twitter, as well as the founder and CEO of Block. And he's also a part of, he's part of Square, isn't he? All right, that's the show. Dude, the Monday edition of the show turned out to be fantastic. Cheers, VA. Thank you for dropping knowledge on us on the Facebook page, dog. Bravo. The program's brought to you by Greenberries. Enter to win coffee for a year at enter.greenberries.com. Enter.greenberries.com, free coffee for a year. It's the Monday edition of the I Love CVille Show, where I think we just potentially looked into our crystal ball and maybe predicted the future. Live on air. Thank you for joining us. Hasta luego, everyone.